My mother called me useless and burden, so I sold the home. They never expected to lose. My name is Aurora Hayes, and I'm 28 years old. The grand Victorian home my grandmother Lillian left me was meant to be my sanctuary. Instead, it became the crucible of my most profound betrayal. She's just useless, my mother, Eleanor, scoffed into the phone that Tuesday afternoon. A perpetual burden. My stepfather, Arthur, chuckled in agreement. They were enjoying a lavish cruise, funded by my strained savings, plotting how to seize my inheritance. They never knew I was listening. When they returned, smiling and suntanned, their key didn't fit. The house was empty. My note read simply, "Surprise. A useless burden did this." Growing up, my mother, Eleanor, always highlighted my perceived flaws. Every artistic pursuit, every unique idea, met with a dismissive, "That's useless, Aurora," or "You're such a burden." My stepfather, Arthur, rarely intervened, his silence often an implicit agreement. They lived comfortably, yet constantly reminded me of the sacrifices they made. Grandma Lillian was different. A celebrated landscape architect, she saw a spark in me. "Your worth isn't in what you produce for others, Aurora," she'd say during our visits to her sprawling Victorian, "but in the strength of your own spirit." Her home, filled with vibrant art and the scent of aged paper, was my refuge. When Grandma Lillian passed unexpectedly 4 years ago, I was heartbroken. At the will reading, everyone gasped when her attorney announced the Victorian, valued at $950,000, was mine. My mother and stepfather received only a modest sum, which they swiftly spent on luxuries. From that day, the house became the family asset to them. My modest architect's salary, barely covering my student loans, was suddenly expected to cover their family home expenses. They made renovation plans without consulting me, rearranged my furniture, and constantly badgered me for money. "You're so lucky to have this house, Aurora," Mother would sigh. "The least you can do is help us with our expenses. Don't be a burden." Their latest demand was funding their lavish Golden Years European cruise. Despite my refusal to take out a home equity loan, their constant emotional blackmail wore me down. I ended up paying for most of it. The day before they left, I overheard Mother on the phone. "Of course Aurora's paying. It's the least she can do considering we let her keep the house." The casual entitlement stung. Weeks later, they were in Paris. I called my stepfather about a small repair. "It's in the study," he grumbled, impatient, before muttering, "Eleanor and I are about to go to dinner." "Fine, fine." He clearly hadn't hung up. "Who was that?" I heard Mother's voice clearer now. "Just Aurora, complaining about something in the house again," Arthur replied. "She's been a burden from the start, Eleanor. All those years of expenses. Now she has this valuable property just dropped in her lap, and what? She thinks she deserves it? What has she ever done?" "She's always been useless," Mother added, their voices merging in a synchronized, sickening laugh. "But she's also so easily manipulated. Remember how quickly she agreed to pay for this trip? All I had to do was mention family obligation." My blood ran cold. I fumbled for my other phone and began recording. "What if she doesn't agree?" Mother asked. "She will," Arthur said. "We just need to make her feel guilty enough." Reminder of all we've sacrificed. By this time next year, that house will be in our names. If worst comes to worst, we're living there anyway. She'd never evict her own parents. They laughed again, a sound that twisted my stomach. In that moment, the illusion of my family shattered. I was just a burden, useless, a means to their end. Something inside me broke, and something hard and determined took its place. I would lift this burden, but not for them. The next 3 days were a blur of cold efficiency. My realtor colleague, Marcus, a master of discreet sales, had the house listed privately. Within 2 weeks, I had an offer. I found a small apartment 2 hours away. I opened new bank accounts, changed my phone number, and secured my grandmother's will and the house deed in a new safety deposit box. One afternoon, I found a never-sent letter from Grandma Lillian. "My dearest Aurora," it began, "your parents have always expected things to be handed to them. You, my sweet girl, have worked for everything. I'm leaving you my home because I know you'll honor it and use it to build your own success, not as a crutch. Never doubt that you deserve every good thing. I'm so proud of the woman you've become." Her words were a shield, strengthening my resolve. I hired movers. My personal belongings went to my new apartment. My mother and stepfather's possessions, everything they'd brought, even items I couldn't definitively prove were mine, were meticulously cataloged, photographed, and sent to a storage unit rented in their names, paid for 6 months in advance. The access codes and payment info were mailed to their European hotel. The sale closed 2 days before their return. At the title company, I signed the papers. With each stroke of the pen, I wasn't just selling a house. I was severing a toxic tie and securing my freedom. The check, for just over $900,000, felt like my future. I walked through the now empty Victorian one last time, my footsteps echoing. In the kitchen, I placed my note on the gleaming countertop. Surprise! A useless burden did this. I dropped the keys through the mail slot and drove away without a backward glance. For the first time in my life, I felt truly free. The burden had been lifted, not from them, but from me. 10 days later, my old phone exploded. Voicemails, texts, emails, all from my mother and stepfather. The first voicemail: "Aurora, what the hell is going on? Our key doesn't work. Call us immediately." Their tone was annoyed, not concerned. The third, from my mother, dripping with manufactured worry: "Aurora, sweetie, we're very worried about you. Please call us." The final voicemail: "We found your note. You had no right to sell it. This is our home too. We're consulting an attorney first thing tomorrow. You've really done it this time, Aurora." I saved all the messages but responded to none. They tried to create a scene at my office, but my boss, Vanessa, had them banned from the premises. Showing incredible support, a few days later, my phone rang. "Aurora," my mother's voice tight with fury. "We need to meet. Coffee shop on Elm Street, 10 a.m. If you don't show, we're going to your office again." I met them. "Why did you do this?" Eleanor demanded, her face contorted. "This was our home." "It was my home, Mother," I corrected calmly. Then I played the recording from my phone. Their own voices filled the quiet cafe. "She's been a burden from the start. Useless. She thinks she deserves it? What has she ever done? We just need to make her feel guilty enough." She signed the house over to us. Eleanor turned pale, Arthur's face flushed with rage. "You recorded us? That's illegal," Arthur sputtered. "Actually, it's not," I replied, "but that's beside the point. The point is, I finally heard what you truly think of me. I sold my house, which was entirely within my legal rights." "You ungrateful little—" Arthur started, rising. "I wouldn't be who I am without you," I said, cutting him off, surprising them both. "Every time you called me useless, every manipulative comment, every conditional show of affection, it all taught me exactly what kind of person I didn't want to become. So, in a way, I should thank you." Eleanor's tears stopped. Arthur looked like he'd been slapped. I stood up. "Your belongings are in a storage unit. The information has been mailed to you." I left them stunned, walking out into the sunlight. My life transformed. I continued therapy, addressing the deeper patterns of conditional love. I also developed a workshop for first-time homebuyers, especially women, on recognizing and preventing financial manipulation. My boss, Vanessa, fully supported this initiative. I made peace with my past, realizing I couldn't change them, but I could use my experience to help others and build a better life. On the 1-year anniversary of selling the house, I visited Grandma Lillian's grave. "I think I finally understand what you were trying to teach me," I whispered, "about self-worth and setting boundaries. If my story resonated, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for listening to my journey. Please also comment from where you are watching.